I think he need to enjoy what he's doing, and that's it. He need to calm down and start calling out people with other levels. I think he need to focus on what he's doing.
Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So
he didn't throw any punches until the third or fourth round or something. He was just kind of walking forward, and I don't know what he was doing. It was weird.
Canelo Alvarez has shared his thoughts on Jake Paul's win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The fight just ended, and fans are still surprised by the result. As reactions pour in from the boxing world, many people wanted to hear from Canelo, a legend in the sport who respects the Chavez family name. When asked, Canelo quickly gave his opinion on Jake's big win over the son of Mexico's boxing icon.
Paul going toe-to-toe with 39-year-old Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and it's another win for Jake Paul. He was greeted with boos post-fight after winning his 6th straight fight, calling out anyone and everyone, requesting multiple title shots and a possible rematch with Tommy Fury. Jake claims he's just getting warmed up.
Chapter 1's done tonight. Now we're moving into Chapter 2, and I'm just getting warmed up in this sport. But people hold the Tommy Fury thing against me, but what now? I just beat a former world champion, and I'm coming to avenge that loss as well with Tommy.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fought in a 10-round cruiserweight main event at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, on June 28, 2025. From the start, Paul controlled the fight using a good jab and body shots. Chavez Jr., who is 39, looked slow and barely threw punches until the last rounds. The judges scored the fight 99-91, 98-92, and 97-93 for Jake Paul. Chavez only clearly won one round.
Yeah, no, I felt the crowd's energy, even though they were against me. I love it. I feed off of that. And I think it's funny when I'm landing, you know, however many punches I land, 250 or 200, and he landed whatever, like 100, but they just scream every single time he lands a punch. But at the end, they were quiet. So that's how it goes always.
But that shows you the mental toughness of Jake Paul, to your question, right? For this young man to consistently go in, not in Puerto Rico, they love him in Puerto Rico, but to consistently go in around the US and be treated like the underdog in that arena and not being supported the right way, and for him to persevere and to be cool, calm, collected, and composed and deliver, is pretty amazing.
Statistically, Paul landed 140 punches while Chavez only landed 61, mostly in the final 3 rounds. Chavez tried to fight back in rounds 9 and 10, but it was too late. Paul's win moves him closer to being ranked as a cruiserweight. Meanwhile, Chavez's weak performance has people wondering if he should keep boxing at all.
Official weight for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., 198.4 pounds. Official weight for Jake Paul, 199.4 pounds. And ladies and gentlemen, live right here from the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, we see the return of the former world champion, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and the return of the problem child, El Gallo de Dorado, Jake Paul, live on DAZN pay-per-view tomorrow night. Back up.
God has given me the ability. God has given me the strength. God is good. And the problem child's a real fucking dog. Oh. I'm knocking him the fuck out, Chris. Let's go, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night, Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Pro fighters like Emiliano Vargas were impressed by Jake Paul's performance. After watching Chavez Jr. lose so clearly, Vargas said Jake looked calm and athletic under pressure. He explained that Chavez struggled with timing and pace, while Jake kept up a strong work rate. Vargas said fighters need a good plan to beat Paul, and Chavez didn't have one. He didn't criticize Chavez too harshly, but said this fight showed how much Jake has improved and that Chavez's plan just wasn't enough.
I mean, look, you gotta accept it. I mean, look, he's a YouTuber. People know that, but you gotta respect it, man. The only thing you can do is respect it. But you know, that's it, man. You gotta respect it.
Easy work. Couple of shots at the end. Any of them hurt you?
I just think Chavez didn't get started. That's the only thing. I mean, you can't win.
I want to be world champion. Zerno looks slow as shit.
You can't win if you don't throw, you know? So it was kind of like the Ryan Garcia Rollies thing. You know, Rollies didn't, I mean, Ryan really didn't get started, so, you know.
What'd you think about how Jake looked and then fought?
Hey, you know what?
You're very tough.
If he sucked ass, he sucked ass, but he actually looks pretty good. There's people who walking in the gym, you can tell right away if they can box or not, so. He can box, he's selling out, you know, obviously this arena. And
Vargas also shared his thoughts on whether Jake Paul is ready to face top 15 or top 20 ranked fighters. Many boxing experts think Paul is getting closer to fighting real pro boxers instead of MMA stars or YouTubers. Promoter Eddie Hearn said that even though Paul could get a WBC ranking soon, there are still better boxers who deserve a top 15 spot more than him right now.
I missed you. Just I want to get your reaction to the fight.
Oh, great fight. You know, Julio's back after all he's been through. So, you know, I tip my hat off to him. It's not easy, you know, especially through, you know, when life throws at you sometimes. But, you know, it was a good fight.
What'd you make of how Jake Paul looked and fought?
He's doing his thing. Jake Paul's looking good. Shout out to him. Yeah.
You think he's ready to like fight like maybe a top 15, top 20?
Sure, yeah.
So I guess where does Junior go from here in your opinion?
It's up to him. He can retire if he want, or he can have another, you know, fight like this. You know, fight a YouTuber or something. Yeah.
In terms of you, Rayo, when can we see you back in the ring?
I'll be back like in the fall, hopefully.
The fall?
Yeah.
You have an opponent in mind?
Nothing set in stone.
All right. Hey, just want to get your thoughts. The rematch between Lamont and Roach, how do you see it? I mean, Tank and Roach.
That's a good fight. 50-50 fight, like the first fight. I'm going to go, you know, I don't know, whoever.
Finally, Canelo and Crawford. Break it down.
That's a good fight, man. That's a good fight. It's hard to count Crawford out, man, because he's just a dog. And if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Crawford or Benavidez, you know. So, you know, Crawford, I don't know. I'll 50-50.
All right, Ryan, thank you.
Thank you.
Shane Sugar Mosley didn't hold back after watching Chavez Jr.'s awkward performance against Jake Paul. The former 3-division world champion said Chavez Jr. should retire, calling his showing weird and saying he lacked real fight instinct. Mosley pointed out that Chavez looked hesitant and off rhythm, unable to handle Jake's pressure. He thinks this loss could mean Chavez's time in the ring is over and said it's hard to justify more fights after losing like this to a celebrity boxer.
When and how, especially Junior fought?
Well, first of all, I think that Jake Paul fought a good fight. You know, he moved around the way he's supposed to, throwing great punches, and for the experience he had, he did fantastic. Junior, on the other hand, he didn't throw any punches until the third or fourth round or something. He was just kind of walking forward, and I don't know what he was doing. It was weird. It was weird to see that type of fighting, but anywho, that's not Jake Paul's fault. So Jake Paul did what he used to do, and he won, and he looked good.
Where do you think Junior goes from here, in your opinion, Shane?
Junior needs to retire from here.
Junior needs to retire.
He needs to retire. I mean, if you can't throw any punches in 2, 3, 4 rounds, you need to retire. I mean, if you can, what are you doing? What are we doing? You just living up. Basically, you're living off your father's name. Yeah. That's basically what you do because you didn't even fight.
Jose Rayo Valenzuela was also disappointed in Chavez Jr.'s effort. He said Chavez looked flat and didn't fight with hunger or a plan. Valenzuela gave Paul credit for looking sharp, staying fit, and controlling the fight so Chavez never found his rhythm. Valenzuela also shared that he's back in training and feeling strong, planning to return to the ring later this year.
Junior go from here, in your opinion? It's up to him. He can retire if he want, or he can have another, fight like this. Fight a YouTuber or something. Yeah.
In terms of you, Rayo, when can we see you back in the ring?
I'll be back like in the fall, hopefully.
The fall?
Yeah.
Do you have an opponent in mind?
Nothing set in stone.
All right. Hey, just want to get your thoughts. The rematch between Lamont and Roach, how do you see it? I mean, Tank and Roach.
That's a good fight. 50-50 fight, like the first fight. I'm gonna go, I don't know, whoever.
Finally, Canelo and Crawford. Break it down.
That's a good fight, man. That's a good fight. It's hard to count Crawford out, man, because he's just a dog. And if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Crawford or Benavidez, So, Crawford, I don't know. I'll 50-50.
Before the fight, boxing expert Teddy Atlas gave his honest view. He talked about Chavez Jr.'s past achievements, but said he wasn't convinced Chavez was still a top boxer. Atlas said Chavez's problems outside the ring and lack of recent fights could hurt him. He also noted that Chavez's last opponents, like Uriah Hall, were not that strong. Atlas said if Chavez defended well, he could test Jake, but in the end, Atlas predicted Jake Paul would win.
Paul's gonna beat him. I think it'll go the distance. Paul doesn't pick guys, so he'll look stupid. Chavez, when he does throw the left hook, bud, if he leads with it a little bit, the best punch of Paul, besides the jab, is his right hand. He's got a pretty good right hand. And if he could time the left hook being a little wide in front of him, well, as I always say, straight beats round. The straight right hand could beat the left hook.
A day before the fight, Jake Paul confidently said he would do what even Canelo Alvarez never did, beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. After his win. Jake claimed his victory shows he can beat big-name fighters that even top boxers didn't face. While Canelo never fought Chavez Jr., Jake said his hard work and training helped him beat a former world champ. This bold statement adds to the hype around Jake Paul's boxing career and shows he wants to prove he's more than just a YouTuber.
This is going to be the toughest fight of his career, the most embarrassing fight of his career. He's going to be exposed.
Julio, que te va a romper tu madre, güey. Más. I don't think so.
How do you think this fight plays out?
I break him down, He's always the young man, the stronger guy in the ring. So for the first time, I want to put him back, make him work, extra work.
After beating Chavez Jr. by unanimous decision, Jake Paul now wants to fight bigger names in the cruiserweight division. He says he's interested in fighting top fighters like Gervonta Davis, Badou Jack, or Gilberto Ramirez.
Title challenger. I'd have to say he has a long way to go, but going 10 rounds against a former champion, even if that former champion is a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who was 39 years old and really 13 years or so removed from credibility in the ring, at least Jake had to go 10 hard rounds, which was an improvement from some of the 8-round fights he's had earlier, and he had to fight off a somewhat stiff challenge late from a Chavez who pretty much took the first 4 rounds off completely of this fight and really took a long time to heat up and finally get going. I don't mean to be a hater here, but you do have to judge with some knowledge compared to the rest of boxing. It's one thing to be the best celebrity fighter in the world. It's another thing to legitimately climb the ladder and fight for a cruiserweight world title.
And this is a kind of Mickey Mouse path to the title shot that he might carve for himself. If Jake Paul is able to get a WBC ranking next to his name by having defeated a former middleweight champion, then kudos to him for the way he's done it. A genius marketer, but with the credibility, like BC alluded to, is not at the highest level.
However, Ramirez is focused on unifying titles with Ja Apataya, so a fight with Jake might have to wait. Jake has also called out heavyweight fighters like Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua, saying he wants to test himself against elite boxers. Some people still doubt Jake's opponents, but he says he's serious about proving himself. After beating Chavez Jr., Jake was booed by the crowd, but responded with a fiery speech, saying he's ready to fight anyone and wants to show he's a real boxer who can handle top-level opponents.
I'm going to fight all of these guys. I feel like tonight was just the first day of my boxing career, and I've just got warmed up, and now this is the chapter 2 moving forward. I felt the crowd's energy, even though they were against me. I love it. I feed off of that, and I think it's funny when I'm landing, you know, however many punches I land, 250 or 200, and he landed whatever, like 100, but they just scream every single time he lands a punch. But at the end, they were quiet. So that's how it goes always.
But that shows you the mental toughness of Jake Paul, to your question, right? For this young man to consistently go in, not in Puerto Rico, they love him in Puerto Rico, but to consistently go in around the US and be treated like the underdog in that arena and not being supported the right way, and for him to persevere and to be cool, calm, collected, and composed and deliver is pretty amazing.
Hey, Jake, right over here to your right. Andreas Hill from ESPN. Listen, the last time you fought a fighter that had a lot of pressure towards you was Tommy Fury. You looked a lot different tonight. And people still go back to that fight and say, well, he couldn't beat Tommy Fury. Talk about how much different you are of a fighter now as opposed to when you fought Tommy.
I don't even think I was a fighter then. I was like 2.5 years into the sport. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't have the proper team around me, the proper conditioning. My lifestyle outside of the ring was still that of like a YouTuber, celebrity actor, whatever I was at that point in time. So I wasn't fully focused on boxing. Like I said, feels like chapter 1's done tonight. Now we're moving into chapter 2, and I'm just getting warmed up in the sport.
Chavez Jr., on the other hand, admitted he started the fight too slowly, but says he wants to keep boxing. His father, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., was angry and frustrated after seeing his son lose to Jake Paul. He said his son didn't do enough in the early rounds, but fought better at the end and could have won if the fight was longer. He also blamed his son's past struggles and lack of training, but said Chavez Jr. still showed heart.
Jake Paul just fought against Mike Tyson, who didn't even throw one punch. This is not Mike Tyson. You are gonna get your ass whooped.
No hay manera de que le gane Jake Paul.
There is no way Jake Paul.
Esta preparación que hizo Julio, Jake Paul no la sabe.
This camp, Jake Paul doesn't know.
Va a salir a tirar chingazos. Jake Paul va a estar corriendo como gallina.
Julio's gonna go in throwing some serious punches, and you're gonna be running like a chicken without a head.
Yeah, we've heard it all before.
Oscar de la Hoya showed strong support for Jake Paul after the fight. He praised Jake for facing a real opponent in Chavez Jr., who once fought top names like Canelo Alvarez. De la Hoya said Canelo never managed to hurt Chavez Jr., so if Jake Paul was able to, that's a big deal. He believes beating Chavez Jr. could help Jake get closer to a world title shot and prove he can be a real contender in boxing.
Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Yeah. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people. Fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look, Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this. A lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in itself. So we're excited.
So what do you think? Does Jake Paul's big win over Chavez Jr. mean he's ready for tougher opponents? Or is it just another carefully planned highlight in his unusual boxing career?